In the close of the 19th century, slavery was abolished in the United States. And a man whose name was Seymour, who was an ex-slave, had a son called William. William, started his journey into God, and he encountered whom I just described. He encountered a man called Charles Fox Parham. At that time, the doctrine of Pentecost was not something that was common, which meant that the body of Christ, especially in the United States, were ignorant of what it was. There were pockets of teachings on that, but it was not a nationally accepted doctrine. William Seymour met Charles Parham, and then he taught him about, amongst many things. Now, this background we need to understand was that slavery was just abolished. William Seymour was an African American, so God used him. He made him become the face of what we call Pentecostal charismatic movement, especially in the modern day. And he started having church meetings in a place, in a street called Azusa Street. And in Azusa Street, it was a little horse stable, and then they got the property, and then they started having meetings. They didn't have money to afford good chairs, so it was just planks that were nailed together. Long story short was that people began to clamp in, many people trooped in, and consistently the move of the Spirit was evident. The dimensions of the Spirit were visible in many expressions. It was said that in those days, traffic would be caused because many people will feel the roads, and many of what we call the Pentecostal and charismatic movement in modern day dates back to the Azusa Street Revival. In fact, even people like Smith Wigglesworth, they took their fire from Azusa Street. The spiritual father of William Seymour was Charles Parham. He taught him everything that he needed to know. But Azusa Street began to build, and then in a year, the whole nation came to a standstill. They had morning and evening services every day for 3.5 years. But then issues started to come in place, and this is where the lessons come in. Many people do not know this about the Azusa Street, and then we need to study them. So 3 caused the Azusa Street to come to a standstill. Number 1 was that William Seymour got married to a woman, and then he had a secretary. Now, one of the ways of publicity they had at that time was that they would chronicle their testimonies in a magazine, and then they would distribute it, or they would publish it weekly. And so when he got married, his secretary was she was upset that he was supposed to fix his eyes on heavenly things because Jesus was coming soon. And some people would say, maybe she was expecting him to marry her, and she went away with the mailing list. So many people did not even know that Azusa Street was still happening. Secondly was that there was difficulty to discern between emotionalism and what was the spirit or the demonic movement. So many people did not understand there was a mix of spiritual activities in that place. And thirdly was that when Charles Fox Parham, whom I mentioned earlier, was the spiritual father of William Seymour, when he came to Azusa Street to preach, and when he came around, he knew some of these things, especially the second one, which I said was the mix between emotionalism and all of that. And he gave a constructive criticism to William Seymour, and he rejected it so that his spiritual father refused to teach there, and he was to teach, I think, somewhere in Arizona. By the time he came back, the church door was locked. Now, there was a way a minister of the gospel is being rejected in a church. So when you come to a church, especially if you've preached there before, you're coming for the second day, one of the signs they show you that you are rejected in that environment is that they lock the doors on you. So for instance, if you go to preach in a church, maybe a 3 days meeting, and by the first day they didn't like what you preach, they locked the doors on the second day. And so Parham came to the church of his spiritual son, and then he realized that the church doors were locked. And so that was just the height of dishonor, and that became the means of their separation and then being come to be. Ultimately, if you'll ask me what became the end or the unbecoming of the Azusa Street Revival, I would say that it was in the midst of that dishonor, and it's something that we need to learn. We must study these things so that we know how not to repeat them. Azusa Street is well talked about in the nations of the earth, but we must hold on to honor. Honor must be on our lips, and we must know when to listen and to receive criticism Otherwise, we would believe that being the face of a movement of God makes us ultimately correct. This is my exposition on Charles Parham and William Seymour, and I hope that it blessed you. God bless you.